Chile is a country of edges, of deserts that remember starlight, forests combed by Pacific winds, and mountains that punch straight into the sky. From the Mars-like plains of the Atacama to the ice-bitten fjords of Patagonia, this long, slender nation feels like a world stitched together by the Andes. This journey crosses 7 unforgettable days, through artists' hillsides and adobe towns, flamingo lagoons and geyser fields, vineyard valleys and winter-raw Patagonia. We begin in Santiago, descend to the Bohemian cliffs of Valparaíso, fly north to San Pedro de Atacama, then return via wine country before finishing at the end of the world, Torres del Paine, in winter. Along the way we'll share insider tips, local flavors, and quiet places where Chile shows you its soul. Your week begins in Santiago, a capital framed so tightly by mountains that the horizon looks painted. Start in Plaza de Armas, where the Metropolitan Cathedral's Baroque facade faces street chess games and palm trees. Walk Avenida Bandera's art-washed block to La Moneda Palace, the seat of government and a touchstone for Chile's modern history. Ride the funicular up Cerro San Cristobal for a proper sense of scale. On clear winter mornings, the Andes sit so close you can count the ridgelines. Descend into Barrio Bella Vista, a neighborhood of mosaic stairways, murals, and the poet Pablo Neruda's whimsical home, La Chascona, a ship-inspired labyrinth of rooms and views.
So, here's something cool. Santiago is one of the few cities on Earth where you can ski the Andes and surf the Pacific in the same day. The mountains and the coast are, roughly 90 minutes apart.
In the afternoon, wander through La Staria, where indie cinemas, cozy bookshops, art galleries, and cafes spill onto charming stone streets. If you have a bit of extra time, step inside the Museum of Memory and Human Rights, which is honestly a powerful space honoring victims of the dictatorship era.
If you've worked up an appetite, definitely order a lomito sandwich stacked with pork, tomato, and avocado, or maybe try pastel de choclo, which is this sweet savory corn pie. Dinner in a mid-range bistro usually runs about 8,000 to 15,000 Chilean pesos per person.
When the city lights up, sip a pisco sour on a rooftop in Providencia, and watch the Andes turn to ink.
Boutique stays in La Staria or Providencia typically range from 50,000 to 120,000 Chilean pesos per night, breakfast included, and the metro is nearby, so it's super convenient.
Ride west to Valparaíso, the Bohemian port whose hills tumble into the Pacific. The old ascensors, wooden funiculars, still connect the lower port to neighborhoods like Cerro Alegre and Cerro Concepcion, where cafes lean over hand-painted stairways and windows frame an impossible blue. Explore the Paseo Gervasoni and Paseo Yugoslavo outlooks, then duck into La Sebastiana, another Neruda home perched above the sea, full of maps, figureheads, and oddities that made their way ashore.
Valparaíso's historic quarter is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, a living museum of merchant houses, cable cars, and 19th century port architecture.
Walk the waterfront past fishing boats and sea lions, then trace the murals along Templeman Street until late light turns the city to honey.
If you've worked up an appetite, try reineta ceviche with lime and cilantro, or a steaming bowl of caldillo de congrio, eel soup immortalized by Neruda. A seaside lunch usually costs about 10,000 to 18,000 Chilean pesos per person.
Return to Santiago by evening to rest before the desert flight.
Reliable buses, like Turbus or Pullman, cost around 10,000 to 14,000 Chilean pesos for a round trip. Oh, and if you can, sit on the right side heading out, for some amazing coastal views.
Fly to Calama and transfer across Oca Plains to San Pedro de Atacama, a town of adobe walls, algarobo doors, and stargazing courtyards. The air is so dry it feels like glass. Begin at Salar de Atacama, the country's largest salt flat. At Laguna Chaxa, Andean flamingos feed in shallow, windless water, their reflections so crisp you can't tell earth from sky. Climb toward the Altiplano for Lagunas Miscanti and Meñiques, blue eyes set in volcano-shadowed stone more than 4,000 meters above sea level.
So, here's something wild. The Atacama is actually the driest non-polar desert on Earth. Some weather stations here have even gone decades, yeah, literal decades, without recording any measurable rain.
Move slowly, the altitude whispers reminders. Let the silence work on you until, honestly, it starts to feel like a sound all its own.
If you've worked up an appetite, you should totally try llama steak with quinoa, or maybe a hearty charqui stew. Prices for a filling dinner usually run from about 8,000 to 12,000 Chilean pesos per person. And if you're looking for a place to stay, Adobe Inns near the plaza go for around 50,000 to 100,000 Chilean pesos per night. Loads of them even have telescopes or star talks right there in-house.
Rise before dawn and ride to the El Tatio Geysers, one of the world's highest geothermal fields. In the sub-zero blue, steam towers hiss, and the sun threads gold through the cold. By afternoon, walk Valle de la Luna, arches, canyons and salt crusts glowing orange, then rose, then purple as the day breathes out. It looks like another planet because, chemically, it almost is.
NASA tested Mars rover instruments in the Atacama because the soil and aridity mimic Martian conditions better than almost anywhere else on Earth.
At night, join a stargazing session. Under the high desert, you'll read constellations like maps, the Southern Cross, the Magellanic Clouds, and the dust lanes of our own galaxy.
So, El Tatio is like freezing all year round. Seriously, you'll want to wear a thermal base layer, an insulating mid-layer, and a windproof shell. Don't forget a hat and gloves, trust me on this one. Oh, and keep some small bills in Chilean pesos handy for the park fees.
After flying back to Santiago, you'll slip into Casablanca Valley, a cool climate region gently misted by the Pacific. It's here that Sauvignon Blanc and Chardonnay really thrive, while Carmenere, Chile's pride, pours ruby in the glass. You can tour organic estates, learn how those ocean breezes shape the wine's acidity, and linger over long lunches where time is measured in courses, not minutes.
If you've worked up an appetite, pair Carmenere with asado from the Parrilla, some warm cheese empanadas, and a bit of pebre salsa. Tastings with food usually cost between 25,000 and 45,000 Chilean pesos per person. Day tours from Santiago run 40,000 to 80,000 Chilean pesos depending on tastings. If you self-drive, make sure to appoint a sober driver. Checks are pretty frequent. Vineyard lodges range from like 80,000 to 180,000 Chilean pesos per night. And yeah, many include bikes and sunset tastings.
Fly south to Punta Arenas, then continue to Puerto Natales, gateway to Patagonia. In winter, the park feels elemental. There are fewer travelers, sharper light, and a stillness broken only by wind and water. Enter Torres del Paine National Park as morning scrapes pink across the Cuernos. Walk the Lago Grey shoreline to watch icebergs drift from Grey Glacier, each one a cathedral of compressed blue. Stop at Salto Grande, where the wind roars and spray turns to glitter.
Patagonia's winds are so relentless that shrubs grow bent like flags, evolving to survive the constant push.
Short winter days ask you to choose your moments carefully. A red fox stepping through new snow, condors circling on iron skies, the spires of granite clearing for a heartbeat, and then vanishing again.
If you've worked up an appetite, warm up with Cordero Magallanico, slow-roasted Patagonian lamb, or a clay-baked chupe de centolla king crab casserole. Expect to pay 15,000 to 30,000 Chilean pesos per person. In winter, it's really important to book guided day tours for safety. Park entry runs between 28,000 and 35,000 Chilean pesos, while day tours from Puerto Natales cost anywhere from 50,000 to 90,000 Chilean pesos. Oh, and don't forget to pack merino layers, a down jacket, waterproof shell, insulated gloves, and micro spikes if the trails are icy. Puerto Natales hosterias usually begin around 70,000 Chilean pesos per night, and inside park winter lodge specials range from 120,000 to 300,000 Chilean pesos including meals and transfers. Pretty handy, right?
Sail the Ultima Esperanza, Last Hope, fjord toward the Balmaceda and Serrano glaciers. In winter the water goes to steel. Cormorants blacken rock ledges. Each iceberg is a moving sculpture. Step ashore for a short forest walk and breathe air that smells like cold and pine. Back in Puerto Natales, it's time to warm your hands by a wood stove and just let the week replay. Salt flats and geysers, murals and markets, vines and granite.
If you're craving one last taste, try sopaipillas pasadas. Those are pumpkin fritters soaked in spiced chancaca syrup. Or maybe a final plate of asado with a glass of carmenere. Honestly, both are pretty unforgettable. Sailings are weather dependent in winter, so keep a buffer day if you can. Patagonia really rewards patience. For your last night, I'd say choose a waterfront room in Puerto Natales. Most mid-range hotels sit between 80,000 and 160,000 Chilean pesos per night, and yep, breakfast is included.
In 7 days, Chile revealed a continent's worth of worlds. Desert light that teaches you to look, ocean fog that makes vines sing, and mountains that remind you how small and lucky we are to stand beneath them. From Atacama's ancient salt to Patagonia's living ice, this land is not a backdrop. It is the story. If this journey sparked your next adventure, tell us where you want Traveler's Treasure Globe to go next. Like, subscribe, and join us for another week, another country, another story.